everybody, this is Craig from the University of Applied Research and Development, and I am delighted to have here Lynne Williams, who is the Executive Director for the Philadelphia Area Great Careers Group and also a published author. Welcome, Lynne.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm here all the way from the suburbs of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the United States.
Why don't you tell us about what you're doing right now?
Well, I wear a couple different hats. I guess I consider myself a teacherpreneur. So I wear a for-profit hat. I write resumes and LinkedIn profiles. And I wear a nonprofit hat. I'm the executive director of this nonprofit. When it started in 2010 by two guys, they didn't want to do it anymore. So in 2015, they came to me and said, "Do you want to take this over?" And they handed me a meetup group, and it had 1,722 people. We now have over 6,300 members. So we've grown quite a bit in almost 5 years. So it's been pretty exciting. I do other various sundry things. I do, speaking gigs. I do a lot of public speaking and training. And I guess that comes from my, K-12 teacher days. And I do blog every week, so I'm a writer. And I know that you appeal to teachers, and I used to write something called IEPs and GIEPs. Do you know what those are? Okay. So when you think about the IEP, Individual Education Plan, that's going to be for special ed. And then the GIEP is for the Gifted Individual Education Plan. Now, when I write resumes and LinkedIn profiles, I look at that for an individual to be their GIEP. I'm trying to help them reach their potential through my writing.
Wow. I'm delighted that we get to encourage educators that what we learn as educators, our skill set is very transferable and can be a launching pad for many different things. So I know that you've written this chapter in a book with a very famous author, and you've done many things. So share with us some of the experiences that you've had so far on your journey.
So I'm really keenly interested in technology, and I've spent a lot of time learning about technology for job search. And in 2013, I started doing some research on the applicant tracking systems. And that's when you apply to jobs online, and it's a bot that's actually reading your resume. So you have got to get your resume through the parser where it gets mathematically scored. And the scoring comes from something called contextualization. So contextualization is where the bot is reading not only the keywords, but the words in front of it and the words behind it. So it's actually reading entire phrases. And then you will either match or you don't match, and you wind up going in the infamous black hole. So when I started doing lots of research on that, I've been presenting that topic, I guess, since 2013. And I was asked to do a presentation on it in 2014, which I did. And then later in the year, somebody from ATD, the Association of Talent Development, which is formerly the ASTD, it was the American Society of Training and Development, they came to me and they said, "Would you write an article for the ATD?" And so I wrote the article. It went international, got lots of likes and shares from around the world. And then they came to me 2 years later and they said, "Lynne, would you like to write a chapter in the book? And there'll be 15 other career coaches. And by the way, Dick Bowles, the author of What Color Is Your Parachute, is writing the foreword." So they asked me to start writing the chapter on the applicant tracking system, but then they took it on a different route and said, "Well, can you add? Can you add? Can you add?" So it was all about applying for jobs. So it's about the hidden job market. How do you manage salary when you're applying, online in the little, boxes in the databases, et cetera. So that book came out in October 2016, and sadly, Dick Bowles passed in April of 2017. So I don't know if that was one of his last things that he wrote or not, but he wrote What Color's Your Parachute for almost 50 years. It's a very, very famous career book. But I still write every single week, and I write blogs on career topics, and I publish them in 3 local online newsletters that have a reach of over 70,000 people, and then I also publish them on our website. So I do like to write, and it basically started with those IEPs and GIEPs, and now I just take my writing skills on a different track.
Amazing. It's amazing where you can go with the skill set of being a teacher and
Absolutely.
Passion.
Yes.
Lynne, I'd be really interested to hear from you. If there's a school that doesn't have a careers program or a strategy, what would be some good starting points? Let's think of maybe not a K to 12, but maybe grade 9 upwards to applying for university, that kind of age range from maybe 12 years of age upwards. What would be some things they could build a program to start with?
Well, I don't know what the school systems are around your area or areas, but in the United States, in my area, we have a variety of options. So I used to teach family consumer sciences, and there was a workshop, or not a workshop, a class called Independent Living. And so it was teaching kids about how to do taxes, how to apply for an apartment lease, how to buy a car, how to do a resume, etc. So basic skill sets, like adulting 101 is very important. And then I also taught personal finance. So that also went off in a different direction about buying the car and how to prepare for college and how to fill out a college application. Again, basic life skills, but that were more finance related. I'm sure there's other things that can be worked in, other business courses, or special workshops that students can go to. It's really important that you do prepare for careers, because nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. But the most important thing you can do, and I find this really a sad thing in the world of education, is educators are really not taking advantage of everything that LinkedIn has to offer. I believe that educators need to have really stellar profiles, and they have to understand the strategies, tips, best practices behind LinkedIn so that they could be models for their students, because their students are going to college, and when they get out, they get that piece of paper. So how do they get those jobs? Well, everything is online now, right? So you've got to have that stellar profile, and you have to have those keywords built in order for people to find you. And I think that's how you found me, was keywords.
That's
so
right.
How about
That's really interesting. So you would encourage teachers, educators themselves to look at their LinkedIn profile, or get one if they haven't got one, and then understand how to create that. Could you give us 2 or 3 things that are really important to have on a LinkedIn profile?
Yes. So any student who is age 16 or over can have a LinkedIn profile. And it's really important that they start with having a LinkedIn profile sooner than later, because if they're one of those stellar students and their teachers have a LinkedIn profile, they could get a recommendation from their teacher who might think the absolute world of them. One of my most favorite students, He's actually been my client. His father's been my client. His brother's been my client. And he's a freshman at Stanford University, but I taught him in 6th grade. And so it's, it's super cool. Like, I would write this kid, he's still a kid to me, young man, I would absolutely write him a terrific recommendation. So as far as what do you need to have on LinkedIn? You need to have a good headline. And the headline, in my humble opinion, should not be where you work. It should be all the keywords that are associated with you. So if you are a teacher, an instructor, a professor, and then the subject areas of that you teach, that you're certified in, or you're an administrator, and then other keywords that relate to you and your career. This is not Facebook, so it's not going to be in the personal realm, because LinkedIn is the largest professional network in the world, and you definitely want to be on it. So the next thing is your about section. Now, nobody's going to read paragraphs. Even though I'm a writer, everybody is just inundated every day with torrents of information. We don't have time to read paragraphs. We skim and scan for content, and you have to have bullet points, and you have to put white space in between the bullet points so that people can kind of skim and scan and get a handle on you. And if they want to read more carefully after they do that skim and scan, then they can read more carefully. Now, I also put a bullet pointed list of keywords in the about section, and I put them in alphabetical order. Why? Because I'm of the teacher breed, and I think of things that are logical and sequential because I used to teach math, So for me to say to somebody that's putting themselves out for a career, let's say it was an executive assistant. Well, that hiring manager might be going and doing nonlinear reading, UARD, Excel, PowerPoint. So if they sense this logic that you've presented the keywords in, then what they're going to do is they will do this nonlinear reading, and they're going to look and see if you have what it is that are the bare bones necessities. And then if you have all these other keywords after you've met their requirements in their mind, it's like, oh, wow, they've got this and this and this and this. That's really great. Now, another thing is your job titles. I would highly recommend that you embellish your job titles. You've got up to 100 characters, so you don't want to just put job title. You want to embellish it with more keywords. Then also, if you've got publications, by all means, put the publications on your LinkedIn profile. And if you have projects where you've been working with other people, that shows collaboration. So you can add other people to the projects. And then your skills and endorsements section, those are all keywords. And you have to look them up by LinkedIn's database. Don't create something out of your head without looking it up and making sure that it exists there. So these are key areas where you could really help to optimize your LinkedIn profile. And the good news is, instead of the headline being 120 characters, I think they are just rolling out, and I don't know if everybody in the world has got it yet, but I think it's up to 220 characters now, which is pretty exciting. More keywords.
What do you think is the value of students as part of their careers development program doing internships?
Doing internships. Internships are excellent because it gives real life hands-on experiences. And I know, I run a nonprofit, and even though nobody gets paid, okay, so we don't have any paying internships, but if we have students that come and experience what we do, we're just like any other business. We're a business, even though we're a nonprofit, we're still a business. We do social media, we, monetize, we sell things, on our website. And the benefit with us is that the students get to learn career education along the journey. So they're going to learn tips and tricks by participating in our nonprofit. But there's other students who really want to, maybe not work at a nonprofit, but they really want to work in an industry or in an internship that's meaningful. So I'll give you an example. I have 2 daughters. So my oldest daughter did an internship in Toronto because she was going to school in Toronto. And she did it with Entertainment Tonight and also some global news station. So she got to actually work in the newsrooms, and she got to go out on camera and film things out in Toronto, so that she had that real life hands-on experience, and it was wonderful for her. Now she's not doing that now. She's not using her major in her job, but she has a very good job. Now my other daughter did her high school internship in Kenya, in Africa. She actually met Grandma Sarah Obama, and she was teaching the villagers how to eat rainbow colors on the plate so that there was nutritional value in all the different colors of the rainbow, and how important it was to wash hands. So they set up bottles hanging from trees and with soap and water and whatnot. I honestly don't remember what she did for her. I don't know that she did an internship. Yes, she did do an internship for college. She was a hospitality management major, and she worked for Marriott International for a short time in Columbus, Ohio. But she did actually a better experience by, she actually went to Griffith University in Gold Coast in Australia, and had a wonderful semester there. And I think she probably learned more than she did in her internship, because she met so many different students internationally. And she is not in hospitality management now. She is a account manager for technical staffing, like recruiting firm. And so she is totally not using her major, and she loves her job. So we all evolve and change over time. So it's okay if you go into some internship and then you find out, hey, I'm not sure that I like this. I might need to change my mind. That's definitely okay.
I think what I picked up there is that there are these transferable skills that you learn, and you may not end up in the same industry, but you pick up these skills, and also you build a network. And if you're interested in being in that particular industry, such as interning with your organization, you learn on the job, and you pick up things that you just wouldn't practically pick up if you're just studying it academically and you never leave an institution. So I think that's valuable.
I can't even begin to tell what a hot mess it was when I left K-12 education. I had no network. I didn't know anybody because I was a single parent. I did my lesson plans, I graded papers, I took care of my students, and I supported my 2 girls because their father died of leukemia back in 2009. So I had my hands full, and I didn't go out. I just couldn't go out. So if you have a LinkedIn profile, it's not going to work in your benefit until you have like 500 connections. Then the algorithm kicks in to do good things for you rather than not do anything for you. So you have to build that network. And the sooner you get started, the better off you are. You never know who knows who and how they can help you. Like, I was a student in France when I was in college, and I still have friends from France, which is really cool. And they are in Cyprus, they're in Greece right now, and it's still, I'm still able to be in touch with them through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through social media. So if I did want to travel abroad, or I wanted to work abroad by chance and maybe teach English in another country, I would have some connections. So LinkedIn, again, is the most wonderful platform. It's a largest business professional network in the world, and people need to be on it.
Great. Awesome. Now we have a number of our aspiring leaders and leaders as well in schools who are looking at doing their doctorate, whether it's a PhD or an EDD. You're pursuing yours now?
I am indeed. Well, second go around, actually. I did write 3 chapters of my doctoral dissertation after completing all my classwork back in 2011. It was at that time that all the paperwork had to be done for the estate of my late husband, and my girls were in their undergraduate educations. So I decided to walk away from the alphabet soup after my name, and it just wasn't the right time. I had to take care of family business. So I walked away, and then in the past couple years, I've been kind of itching, saying, oh, I got to do this. This is a bucket list item. I just have to do this. So I decided to go back to school, and I started in March of this year. And wouldn't you know, I started March 2nd. And it was March 10th. I was actually teaching Princeton Adult School at the Princeton High School in New Jersey. And I was standing less than 6 feet away from a gentleman who was telling me how he didn't feel well. And he thought he was going to go get tested for COVID. So sure enough, he wound up being in the hospital for a week and a half with pneumonia and COVID. Well, I came home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have my doctoral residency this weekend. Well, wouldn't you know, within a day and a half, as soon as they mentioned the word social distancing, we had our in-person residency canceled. So they had to put it all online. They did an absolute fabulous job. And we actually have students from around the world who are in this program because it's online. So they have an EDD program at Gwynedd Mercy University, but I'm in the ABD program. So the ABD program means that I had, with the coursework that I already took and the coursework I still need to take, where they found the holes in my curriculum, I had to take 5 courses, and then I go through 4 doctoral dissertation writing courses. So this is a pretty crazy time for me because I move in about 3 weeks, and I'm not in 1, but 2 courses. So I'm stretched a little bit beyond the beyond. But somehow or another, I'm gonna cope. I'm gonna get through it. But I really enjoy this program. It is very well run, very well structured. I'm really enjoying it. So I've been through 1 doctoral dissertation writing course, and now I'm in my 3rd classwork course because I'm pursuing teaching and learning in higher education. So what I want to be when I grow up is I want to be in higher education, and specifically in career services. So I am delivering career services to mid to senior level executives and professionals and college students and whoever joins our network. I'm delivering career services online. And when we were told we could not meet anymore in person, we were online on Zoom the next day. Like, we did not miss a beat. The only thing we did have to do was to cancel some meetings because we couldn't have meetings overlapping on Zoom. But every day, pretty much, we have career education topics. And so I figure, this is my passion. This is what I love to do. But I love also working with young people. I do miss, my K-12 education experience, and I really like the high school students. So the young college students that are traditional age will be a fun mix into teaching all of the, adults, the non-traditional age students. And they're not enrolled in a college by any means, but We're kind of like that, except you don't get any accreditation or credits or anything for this. So people are coming to learn how to job search, like how do you write a resume? How do you do LinkedIn? How do you do networking? What do you do with the laws and being afraid of going back to work? You know, being exposed to COVID in your work environment. I don't know. There's just so many topics. Ageism, age discrimination. Like there's just so many topics. We have speakers that come to us, or I find them and ask them to come and speak for our organization. Well, we used to have only local speakers from the Philadelphia area, but now that we're on Zoom, I had a speaker a couple weeks ago from California. In a couple more weeks, I have Florida. I had somebody from Michigan. I'm speaking in Texas on Friday. So it's and here I am. Look at me with you. It really is. It's pretty cool that that we're now forced to be online for safety purposes, but it really is working to our advantage. So I just want to keep continuing doing what I'm doing. So if I have an opportunity to teach adjunct, either online or in person, that's what I'd like to do. But I know I can only handle part-time until I finish my dissertation, and then I could consider doing full-time. Because as executive director of the Philadelphia Area Great Careers Group, we're all volunteer. It is totally a volunteer position, but it actually helps me. I reap what I sow, so to speak. So by going out and sharing my expertise and doing public speaking, it comes back to me in the form of, Lynn, I need to hire you to do my resume or my LinkedIn profile. So I was really inspired by the book called The Go-Giver. Have you ever heard of that? By Bob Berg, and there's another author. So by giving, you know, and helping empower people and teaching people, it does come back to you, because not everybody has the expertise to understand how to do the keywords, how to write the resumes and LinkedIn profiles and whatnot. So for me, having flexible part-time work, you know, I truly believe in the gig economy and the side gigs and side hustles, so that, you know, you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the other thing, and having that flex time, it's a beautiful thing. And now that I'm quote unquote stuck at home, because, you know, we just got the go green, but as we've got the go green to go out in public but still wear masks, we still have rising COVID cases in this area. So I'm pretty happy staying inside. I actually have FOGO. Do you know what FOGO is? Fear of going out?
Fear of going out, yeah.
Yeah. So by staying in and working on my doctoral dissertation and running my organization and doing my resumes, you know, I'm in front of a computer all day. It's me and my computer and all the people that I talk to on Zoom. So it works for me, but it is different from 3.5 months ago. That's for sure.
Lynne, you've had such a wide range of experiences, and I really want to thank you for sharing with us today, and particularly about the career education side. I think schools and educators can really learn from that and build something special to prepare their students to be more successful when they graduate from the high school. So thank you so much for sharing everything with us. Wish you all the best.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.